I don't know if it's that healthy to be in here when it's like this. Knowing that we're not open tonight, and we're not gonna be open tomorrow night. We haven't been open for 2 months. I have this anvil on my chest, not because I'm worried about my restaurants. Of course I am. I'm scared to death. But I'm really worried about this industry going down. Time is of the essence here, and the Senate is on recess. Look, I don't run the Senate, but I don't agree with people taking vacation when there's work to do.
No industry in America has lost more revenue or jobs.
I think the numbers are 11 million people that work in independent restaurants.
If we don't get help, 65 to 80% of all independent restaurants across this country will close their doors.
Every day, the stakes get higher. Every day, it gets more frightening and more suffocating. You have to wake up in the morning saying, okay, we're trying to save 500,000 restaurants and our own. What do I gotta do?
Bobby, good afternoon from Las Vegas. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me today about your documentary, Saving the Restaurant. When I got the email about this documentary and a chance to speak to you, being from Las Vegas, born and raised, one of the restaurant capitals of the world, this is something where I knew a lot of people during the pandemic losing their restaurants, and it was felt all over the country, I'm sure, and I just wanted to speak to you because this is something that's people need to know about and your story. So, from your experience, the pandemic caught in your restaurant business, how devastating was it for your business?
Well, it's brutally devastating, not just for me. I don't want to focus on Bobby's restaurants. I want to focus on how brutal it was for the entire industry across the United States. Were there some pockets that turned out okay? Yes, but they were anomalies. They were very specific anomalies, but for the most part, we have 500,000 independent restaurants across the United States, making up 11 million jobs, and another 5 million jobs needing restaurants to be healthy. And it still continues not to be a healthy environment right now, business-wise. It's just really, really brutal, and it's going to take a while. But yes, it was. You just can't. You just kind of look about how restaurants are built, and you look at 2019. The industry had an industry average profit of 6%, and that's in a great year, right? So we can just do some simple math together. If the industry average when you're not in a pandemic is a 6% profit, that means the industry as a whole is just a couple ticks away from insolvency. And then you put something like restrictions, closures, expensive PPE, everything that happened this December across the United States with Omicron, where restaurants were literally closed during the biggest month of the year, December, because they didn't have staff to work. Like, things affect restaurants a lot differently than a law firm or architectural firm or a creative agency. And you put that on top of it, it's just brutal.
So the Great Resignation is a reality, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And it's a reality across all industries. It is wildly magnified in our industry.
And did you take measures that generate any income during the pandemic? Most were doing to-go orders or struggling to do something to generate income.
Yeah, I have 4 restaurants, 2 in Boulder and 2 in Denver, and they all have a different platform. They all have a different place where they are in the existence of their lifespan. So I'll start in Boulder. You've got Pizzeria Locale, a pizzeria. It did pretty good with to-go once we turned that on, because people think of pizza and to-go. So that worked okay. That helped claw back and keep us alive. Frasca, which is fine dining, fine dining, high check average, different animal right next door to Pizzeria Locale. It did a different pivot. It was, had 17 years of guests, like it's been around a long time. We did a once a week at home with. So we would take our kitchen team, we would build a menu, prep everything, shoot a video in the kitchen with our chef. And then Carlin, our wine director, and I would shoot a video via Zoom like we are right now, but with a winemaker in Europe or a winemaker in California. And then that Sunday, people would come pick up everything boxed up to do their at-home cooking with a video of how to do it, and then a video of the wine that we put in for that. So that worked out really well. I mean, it's not the same as being open,
Right.
but it got us to here. And then you take the two restaurants down in Denver. One had just opened in December of 2019. It's a very small, narrow space. Does not have a robust outside dining area because it literally sits on the platform of the train station. That one really suffered. It wasn't set up for a pandemic. It was a new restaurant. It's a wine bar. That's not what you think of as to-go food. That one, Sunday Vinyl, tough way to start your life, opening 3 months before a pandemic. So every restaurant in our organization had a different story, and that's the industry. There's restaurants that had the right pandemic profile and it was okay. It wasn't disastrous, but at the end of the day, there's hundreds of thousands of restaurants that had to close because of the pandemic, and it's really brutal.
And the restaurant owners made it clear to Congress the assistance they needed, but they earmarked money, but then I hear nightmares of them not getting into the hands of the restaurant owners, or there was red tape, or there was so how did that all pan out? Is it still coming, or did it ever happen? Or
so I'll give you the lay of the land, or the level set is the term we all came up with during the pandemic. The economic study that was done for the industry was the exact same company that did the economic study for the airline industry's bill package, right? Because the airlines, I think, got two packages. So that study said we needed about $100 billion. Now, of course, some restaurants closed, so maybe not quite 100 billion, but pretty close. When it finally got passed last year, this time, and signed for the American Rescue Plan by President Biden, it was put in at 28.6 billion. So a truncated amount. And I think the industry thought that we're going to go through that money, and then the Congress and the Senate would get right back at it and get it refunded. The bill went live, the grant went live May of 2021. It was overprescribed in 24 hours, shut down 20 days later. So there was a group of people that got it, all different walks of life of restaurants, small, big, medium, all that qualified, got it. But there's 177,000 that didn't get it, and they're still in the queue. So like my two restaurants in Denver, Sunday Vinyl and Tavernetta, they didn't get it. They're sitting in the queue with, so that's two. That means there's 176,900 and whatever others like them waiting in that queue for it to be refunded. Do we need the Senate and Congress to get their act together and fund it immediately? 100%.
Well, the crisis, from what you just told me, is far from over for the restaurant industry.
100%.
This is an eye-opening documentary. Bobby, thank you for, what's a call to action? Just to the restaurants that are open, encourage people to go out now. Nevada just lifted their mask mandate, immediately things are starting to, if you could say, come back to normal, but is that what people can do? What's the call to action when they see a documentary like this? What do you want us to do?
Go to www.saverestaurants.com. That's the Independent Restaurant Coalition website. and call your congressman and senator. Call them and say, listen, we need to get that RRF passed. There's 177,000 restaurants sitting in the queue. You effectively, Congress and Senator, played winners and losers, not based on merit, just who got through and who didn't. And that's what we need to do. We need to refund that as quickly as possible.
Bobby, congratulations on your incredible efforts. You know, you're applauded, to be applauded. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm going to come visit your restaurants when I can. I love to be there.
Can't wait. Okay.
Thank you, Bobby.
Have a good
Take care.
one. Have a great weekend.